Commander Zixthor of the Krellian Empire had never been humiliated in his entire military career. Standing 7 feet tall with chitinous armor plating and forearms capable of crushing steel, he was the pride of his species, a warrior born and bred for combat. His people had conquered 47 star systems, and he personally had never lost a single challenge in the ceremonial combat rings that dotted Krellian space stations. That was before he met Lieutenant Sarah Chen. The incident began, innocuously enough, in the diplomatic quarter of Station Nexus 7, a neutral zone where dozens of species mingled for trade and politics. Zixthor had been drinking fermented Kelzar with his squadron when the human delegation entered the cantina. Humans were relatively new to galactic society, barely 3 decades since first contact, and most species still regarded them as soft, squishy creatures who had somehow stumbled into space travel through sheer luck rather than merit. "Look at them," Zixthor's second-in-command chittered, "walking around like they belong here. No armor, no natural weapons, no respect for tradition." Zixthor watched the humans with a mixture of curiosity and disdain. They were indeed unremarkable. Bipedal, weak-looking, covered in fabric instead of proper protective plating. The female among them, this Lieutenant Chen, was particularly unimpressive. She stood maybe 5.5 feet tall, with dark hair tied back and a casual demeanor that suggested she'd never seen real combat. The trouble started when one of Zixthor's warriors made a crude joke about human fragility. Lieutenant Chen, who apparently understood more Krellian than she let on, turned and smiled politely. "I'm sorry," she said in perfect Krellian. "Did you just call my species Deathworld weaklings?" The cantina fell silent. A human speaking Krellian was surprising enough. A human confronting a Krellian warrior was unheard of. Zixthor rose from his seat, all 4 arms flexing. "It is not an insult, small one. Merely an observation. Your people come from a world of moderate gravity, temperate climate, and abundant resources. You are soft." Chen's smile didn't waver. "Interesting theory. Care to test it?" "Test it? A duel. Krellian tradition, right? Honor combat to settle disputes?" Zixthor's mandibles clicked in amusement. Surely this human couldn't be serious. Krellian honor duels were brutal affairs. Full contact, minimal rules. Fought until one party yielded or couldn't continue. His people had evolved on a world where the gravity was twice Earth standard, where predators lurked in every shadow, where weakness meant death. "Human, I have no wish to kill you over a misunderstanding." "Who said anything about killing?" Chen cracked her knuckles. "First to yield or incapacitation. Standard Krellian rules, unless you're afraid." The challenge hung in the air. Every species in the cantina knew what it meant when a warrior refused a formal challenge. Zixthor felt his pride flare. Very well. He would be gentle. A few bruises, perhaps a broken limb, enough to teach this arrogant primate some humility. "Accepted," he growled. They met in the station's designated combat arena an hour later. Word had spread, and representatives from a dozen species crowded the observation galleries. Zixthor entered wearing his ceremonial combat harness, his natural armor gleaming under the lights. Chen entered wearing athletic clothing. No armor, no weapons, just wrapped hands and a calm expression that should have been his first warning. The Arbiter, a neutral Vrixian, recited the rules. No lethal force, no weapons, combat until yield or incapacitation. Both parties acknowledged. The bell sounded. Zixthor lunged forward with the speed his species was famous for, all 4 arms reaching to grapple and crush. He was fast, faster than most species could track. Chen was faster. She slipped inside his guard before he could process the movement, and her fist connected with a nerve cluster beneath his primary arm. Pain exploded through his system, pain he didn't know he could feel. While he was still processing this, her elbow struck his mandible joint with surgical precision, and her knee found the soft tissue gap in his lower abdomen armor. Zixthor stumbled back, shocked. No one had ever penetrated his defenses so quickly. "The thing about humans," Chen said conversationally, circling him, "is that Earth isn't a nice planet. Did you know that?" He swung at her with 2 arms simultaneously. She ducked under one, redirected the other with a motion that seemed impossible, and suddenly Zixthor found himself off balance. A sweep took his legs out and he crashed to the mat with a force that rattled his teeth. 68% of Earth's surface is water, Chen continued. helping him up with a strength that belied her size. He swung again. She wasn't there. Most of it can kill you. The land portions have deserts that cook you, tundras that freeze you, jungles filled with things that poison you. Every attack he launched, she countered. Every opening he thought he saw, she punished. It was like fighting smoke, if smoke could break your joints with frightening efficiency. We evolved as persistence hunters, she said, dodging a desperate four-armed combination. We're not the fastest or the strongest, but we don't stop. Ever. Zixthor was breathing hard now, something he never did in combat. His armor felt like it weighed a ton. How was she not even winded? We have a saying on Earth, whatever doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Everything on our planet tried to kill us, Commander. The weather, the animals, the plants, even the microbes. So we got very, very good at not dying. She moved in again, and this time when Zixthor tried to defend, his arms felt like lead. She struck 3 precise points on his body in rapid succession, and his legs gave out. He collapsed to the mat, unable to rise, his nervous system screaming in confusion. Chen knelt beside him, not even breathing hard. We also got very good at making other things die. But today I'm just making a point. She stood and bowed to the Arbiter, then offered Zixthor her hand. Good match, Commander. That was 3 station days ago. The medical staff assures Zixthor that his dignity will recover before his body does. Apparently, Chen had struck every major nerve cluster he possessed without causing permanent damage, a feat that required intimate knowledge of Krellian anatomy and inhuman precision. He's learned several things from his hospital bed. First, humans are not soft. They're deceptively, terrifyingly competent. Second, their planet is classified as a Class 12 death world, a fact conveniently omitted from most first contact briefings. Third, every human military member is trained in something called martial arts, which is apparently thousands of years of accumulated knowledge on how to efficiently dismantle any opponent regardless of size or strength. But the most important lesson, never ever underestimate a species that evolved on a world actively trying to kill them every single day. Lieutenant Chen visited yesterday. She brought flowers, a human gesture of goodwill, apparently, and apologized for being a bit rough. She also mentioned, almost casually, that she'd gone easy on him because it was just a friendly duel. Zixthor is still processing that statement. He's also drafting a new protocol for Krellian military forces. Treat humans with the respect afforded to apex predators, because that's what they are, even if they smile while they prove it. The warriors of the Krellian Empire have faced down the fiercest creatures in the galaxy. But humans? Humans are different. They don't just survive hostile worlds, they thrive on them. And when they walk into a fight, they bring 10,000 generations of survival instinct with them. Zixthor closes his data pad and winces as he shifts in his hospital bed. His pride may be wounded, but his respect for humanity has increased 1,000-fold. Next time he thinks, he'll just buy the humans a drink.